Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, fellow patriots. You're listening to the Kevin Jackson Show on KJRadio.com. This is Liz Matory, your guest host this day, actually. 3 hours. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to say again, shout out to Kevin Jackson for this awesome experience. It's really wonderful to connect with you over the amazingness of internet radio. So again, case in point, media, right? We're talking about agendas. We're talking about what the heck the left is doing. And quite frankly, how important it is for us everywhere in this country, regardless of what your background is, how you got here. If you are listening to this show or any of the shows like this, you are a part of the mission, right? Talked about it before. My mission is to get either people to leave the Democrat Party, definitely become Republicans, and I know that's a big ask, or at the very least become independent. Again, like people talk, like labels and, I'm a Democrat, da-da-da-da. Well, I'm just going to tell you this right now, from my experience, from what I know, from my work, years of work in the Democrat Party. What you think is a Democrat Party, your party, and your parents' party does not exist anymore. I don't know if enough people know that, I don't know. I mean, it's like there's the a public persona of what people think is the Democrat Party, and then there's the skeleton of it. And shout out to Donna Brazile, for real. I know that her book came out a while ago. Kid you not, man, when I talk about these events that they're talking about, they, and I mean the left or whomever established, I don't know what they are. I really don't care what they are. But there is a group of people out there, hundreds of them, I don't know, 100 of them, 10 of them, I don't care how many they are, but they are very powerful and they are afraid of the rest of us. They are absolutely positively afraid of the fact that American citizens took the chance, took the risk, took the opportunity, and took the right to vote for our president. They never planned on our president. This again goes back to their agenda. If they never ever expected Donald Trump to become president, and they totally, up until the end, assumed that Hillary Clinton would be president, none of the stuff that we hear and see, and they're flex, right? All of this Russian probing and intelligence hacks and spying on American citizens, we would have never heard about it, y'all. Seriously. And the fact that at least we are aware of it, that is what's amazingly interesting about this time. Again, talk about 2018, we talk about midterms, we talk about the importance of getting out there, draining the swamp. We cannot drain the swamp. Brother man cannot drain the swamp by himself. You see how strong, adamant, they will fight tooth and nail to keep their power. The only reason why they are afraid, and again, using these events to make us afraid, is the fact that we are absolutely powerful. The cards that we're dealt, the power is within us as American citizens to change the game. That's the cool thing about our Constitution. That's the cool thing about, realizing what conservatism is and realizing that you don't have to look outside of yourself for an ability to create change. It's well within you. You grow up believing in God and you believe in faith, but when you are tested and you realize that, no amount of government programming or system or whatever is going to help you, and you quiet yourself and you pray, it's super cool. I'm in this whole tip, man. Maybe my moment really was September 11th. I went to New York. I went to Columbia, New York. I went to school at Columbia in New York City. I lost one of my friends in September 11th. We were absolutely shell-shocked, not gonna lie. That's the reason why I don't live in New York City to this day. Not only is it a hella expensive place to live, and I don't like the smell of pee in the middle of the summer. That's a whole other story. I digress. So 9/11 definitely happened, but think about what happened afterwards. We pushed one of several of the most draconian laws, the Patriot Act, to basically, in light of, fighting terrorism, or, making sure the next 9/11 doesn't happen again, the Congress, our Congress, crafted, enforced laws that allow for, spying of American citizens, like what we're seeing now, that they basically, again, like, you can't even just say the leftists now. I mean, that's Bush administration. I mean, I don't know where we are on the whole Bush administration thing, but it's like A plus B equals C, y'all. Like, seriously. They wouldn't have been able to do any of the stuff that we're hearing about if it weren't for if it weren't for the Patriot Act. Again, if it weren't for the huge major event of 9/11. Talk about agenda. We now are having these huge refugee crises where, we can't even talk about, our concerns about the people who are, coming into our country and or the West. Let's face it, it's not a racial thing. It absolutely is a cultural thing. We have different values. We believe that, when you rape a woman, like, it's not a good thing. In some of the cultures, women not only don't have rights, they don't have a voice, they don't have ability to even, to know that activity is not okay. Unfortunately, even in a place like Maryland, in a place like Baltimore, we are hearing about honor killings. I mean, guys, like, what is going on? Like, they're talking about acid attacks in Minnesota and in Minneapolis. I mean, how are we as American citizens, what are we doing about this? Our government, and again, like, there's a reason why we have the Second Amendment. I mean, the Second Amendment, the vow, the sort of the oath that we take onto our Constitution by the grace of God, is to make sure that we uphold the values and principles that we want to aspire to and live by. I don't think honor killing should be allowed in the context of Sharia law. These things cannot, jibe together. They're literally they're not even oil and water. They're whatever substance definitely doesn't jibe with the other substance. They're that. And in a minute, we're going to have to take a little break. Wow, these sessions are like going back to back, man. It's when you get into it, you can really get into some sort of flow. But again, like, we have to be really mindful of what is happening, and sometimes they're doing things to take away our rights. If you take 9/11 as an example, and you take the Patriot Act as an example, if you take mass shootings as an example, or events that utilize weapons, firearms as an example, please be mindful of what sort of laws they're trying to do now.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.